Action.
That's what we call action here at Beach Access. Welcome back to Beach Access, or Willkommen to Beach Access from Hamburg, Germany. This is actually where we did our debut.
Yeah.
We did have a love fern last time, and Frida was editing. We were just in that corner over there. Happy anniversary.
Yeah, indeed.
To commentating on the road. And my voice is a little raspy. We did 29 matches, a record for us in Hamburg. What an event, per usual, out here in Germany. 8 straight years we've been here at the Rothenbaum. What'd you think? Give me your first impressions.
First impressions were some lopsided games, especially today on Championship Sunday. I saw a lot of promising volleyball from some teams unexpected. Some teams getting back into form, like the men's team from Poland, Wojciech, looking as good as we've ever seen them, just about. Anders and Christian looking as healthy and as fit and as crisp as we've ever seen them as well. Some of my first impressions, obviously Italy, girls, the women just running through the fields, beating everybody, taking down the world #1 team and Victoria and Tamala, and just leaving us in awe a lot of times. Valentina's leaving us in awe, and the composure and side-out play of Reka, just unbelievable. Really impressed.
Yeah, and I think that's the big storyline for me, and I think that's a good place to start, is Reka, Orsi, Toth, and Valentina Gottardi, young Italian team. Valentina's been this can't-miss superstar since she broke through at the 2022 World Championships with Marta Menegatti when she was just a teenager, 19 years young, and she came out just detonating balls. And everyone knew it was just a matter of time before she started taking all that supreme athleticism and turning it into being an elite volleyball player. And she quickly did that with Marta. They became Olympians in 2024 in Paris. Then she picks up Reka, and I was wondering how quickly Reka could sort of rise to the top and get to this level. And 2 weeks ago in Montreal, we didn't even get to really see him because they lost 3 straight matches. Reka was coming off a little injury. And then here we go in Hamburg, and they just blitz teams. They sweep France, 2 different French teams in pool play, and then they come out and they knock off Germany. And they knock off Germany. And they knock off Germany again. And I was so fascinated because when you do that to the home team over and over and over again, the reactions are usually one of 2 things. Either people just start filing out and they just kind of ignore, we don't have any more German teams, we're getting out of here. Or it's not boos, but they're not going to root for you. It's like, you just knocked us out. We're not. But then they became the adopted daughters of Germany. And the finals became a home event, basically, for these 2 young Italian women. And they go ahead and win the first elite gold medal for the women in Italian beach volleyball history.
Yeah, they made history here. They cemented themselves as one of the best teams, in my opinion, on the women's field. Show that they compete at the highest level. And we talk about this a lot. Defense travels. And Reka, 65 digs. She led the tournament in digs. Gottardi second in total blocks with 19. And then the secret weapon, I think we touched on a little bit, was the aces from Reka. She was first. And you mentioned it.
She was first?
She was first in total aces. So maybe a little skewed because she's got some extra matches in there. But still, when you think of this team, you think of Valentina being the weapon at the end line. And she mixed around with the jump serve a little bit. She had a lot more errors than she did aces. I don't think she had any aces in the finals, but it was the consistency from Reka, and it proved to be stellar for her with so many aces.
And they showed so much poise, and bring that back to their round of 12 win over Louisa Littman and Linda Bock. And Linda Bock is someone I want to touch on later as well. That's a rookie who's going to be very good. Already is very good, but that's a name that people are going to know very soon. They were down 10-5 in the 3rd set. And it takes a lot of composure, a lot of poise to come back against a very good defensive team in Bock and Littman, who's also an excellent side-out team. They did that. They mounted that comeback. And then we saw that poise again in the finals, where they dropped that first set. And in that technical timeout, I don't know what the Italian coach hold them.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, Valentina's making all these crazy blocking moves, pulling, and they just were so disruptive on one of the best side-out teams on the Beach Pro Tour, the world #1, and Victoria and Tamala had no answer.
No answer. And I think what separates the best teams from their teams is those in-game adjustments. And it's different because you have coaches here now to help support you with some of those in-game adjustments. And for a younger team like Valentina and Reka, maybe having coach in the box was really a big help for them. And maybe they would have come up with that adjustment on their own, but I have to believe having her in the box, let me pull up her name, Katarina, in the box with them, might have been like kind of a little hidden X factor for them, kind of highlighting why having a coach in the box is so valuable. But the in-game adjustment, and it just goes to show all young players out there, when you're playing and a team, you come out with the strategy, how do you adapt? How do you shift your strategy? Do you have a backup plan in place? And they did, and it worked because Brazil looked flustered.
They did, and we haven't seen, they were up 10-2 in the third set. I haven't seen that happen to Tamala and Victoria maybe ever.
No.
First time, and we were introduced to Tamala and Victoria here in Hamburg a year ago. They won bronze. Now they've won 6 medals in 11 events as a team. And so to go up 10-2 on a team as consistently great as that, that's no small thing. And it goes to show, and I don't think Valentina or Reka are even close to scratching their potential as individuals or as a team.
Yeah, I agree with you completely that they're still super young. Valentina 22, Reka's 26. And they just got together to start this year, and they kind of flip-flopped a little bit. Valentina won with Claudia Scampoli to start the year. And so they don't even have a clean full year together. Obviously, they played some in the fall last year. Had a good breakout performance, I think, in Joao Pessoa. Lots of room to grow for this Italian team, and the rest of the world. Look out!
Look out! A new team has arrived, and there was an opportunity here in Hamburg to break through, right? So all the American teams plus Mel and Brandy in Chicago for the AVP championships, and then you have the Verger de Prez there in Switzerland playing the Swiss national championships. And when you get an opportunity, you got to take it. And credit to them, they did take it. So the Italian women, that was my #1 storyline of the weekend. We touched on Tamala and Victoria, 6 medals now in 11 events as partners, world #1. And, you know, they don't have that. I don't think they have yet that factor that Anna, Patricia, and Duda have when they're the world #1. But when they step on the court, I think some teams still might find them to be beatable. Whereas with Anna, Patricia, and Duda, when they stepped on the court, when they're playing at the peak of their powers, it was sort of like, I hope you play bad because if you don't, we can't beat you.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. I agree with you. People step on the court with Tamala and Victoria, and they feel like, okay, we can do this. We can do this. But when you have AP and Duda, a full healthy AP and Duda, then you're just praying that they're not feeling good or they're not wanting to play super tough. But Tamala Victoria, consistency, that's kind of the theme for them, and that's the other storyline for me is Brazilian consistency. AP and Duda coming back from being injured, they get another bronze medal, their 3rd bronze medal, and so they had a couple fifths, they're getting a couple thirds, and so what's next after that? Probably a silver and a gold coming up sometime soon.
And I think they're kind of playing their way back into form. You went down and chatted with Anna, Patricia, and Duda after they won that bronze medal. And Anna, Patricia said, we're getting through a lot of things that are bothering us. And so I think that's probably some physical things. We know that they took some time off with a hamstring injury for AP and some mental stuff. And then we saw AP's hamstring was taped up. Duda had tape on her foot that I've never seen before. And so you never know what people are fighting through. But even sort of, I don't know, maybe a 75, 80%. Anna, Patricia, and Duda still winning back-to-back bronze medals. Good to see them back on the Beach Pro Tour. I think that it's better with them on it. Any other big storylines on the women? What do you got?
Honestly, those are my 3 big ones, was Brazil's and Italia.
Yeah, and then Linda Bock, I think, probably my leader right now for Rookie of the Year, because she's a true bona fide rookie. A lot of times there's that murky, ambiguous, what's a rookie, what's not. If you played futures in a couple challenges, but no elites, are you a rookie? Reka's kind of in that category. But Linda had never played a Beach Pro Tour event. The last time people saw her in a significant event on the beach was in 2016 when she won the German U17 championships. And she played indoor. ACL injury puts her on the beach, and she's thriving. And now it's crazy to think that this was her 2nd elite main draw she seems here because that match that they had in pool play against Patricia and Duda, one of the best individual defensive performances I've seen in a long time. And if you can push and bother Patricia and Duda and make them that uncomfortable already, what's it going to be like a year, 2 years, 3 years, LA 2028 down the road?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. And looking at the stats, Linda is second, I think, in total digs. And they didn't even play a lot of
they were
matches.
Out in ninth.
Yes. And so they were out early, but she was up there in digs. And so the special thing I think about Linda is she is very capable of securing all these digs. She's stunning, but she's big enough and physical enough to be dominant in transition and inside out to put balls away, whereas some defenders who are as speedy and lightning quick and control and dig a lot of aren't as physical as maybe some other players out there who just have the offensive prowess. But Linda, she's got both. And I think there's a lot of room to grow for them. And when they play at the highest level and they're big enough. Luisa obviously is a physical specimen, and she's got one of the best float serves. She's got a massive block. She's hard to serve because she can hammer the ball, similar to like Valentina. But they have a lot of room still to grow because of how new they are. Still, Luisa, she's been around only second year. I think only her second year. Last year with Laura.
Well, they made the Olympics, so she had to have done 20.
Oh, I guess you're right.
23. Probably late 22, early 23.
Okay, so for a
it's
couple,
kind of her like second to third year. Still new.
Still new. But the partnership together, and like you said, Linda, just getting her feet sandy, if you will. It's exciting time for them.
It's exciting time for the German Federation, where you think about Cindy Tillman, Svenja Müller, long been one of the top teams on the Beach Pro Tour. They finished fourth. I hope Cindy's all right. I think she kind of fell funny on her shoulder. They were bummed big time not to podium here in Hamburg after coming so close to winning last year. But you got Cindy Tillman, Svenja Müller locked for world champs. You got Louisa Littman, Linda Bock, pretty much a lock for world champs. And then you got Sandra Ittlinger, Anna Grune taking a fifth here. That pretty much locks them in for world champs. So we're probably going to see 3 German teams competing in Adelaide in the fall, which is huge for them as a federation. Because when you think about the federations with the greatest depth, you think United States, you think Brazil. With the last Olympics, you think the Swiss women. And now the German women are right up there with the deepest of them.
Yeah, German Federation coming alive. And we haven't got to the men really yet, but same on the men's side. You got a handful of really good German men's teams that are breaking through and solidifying some of their spots in world championships.
Yep. So we're going to take a quick medical timeout. We do not have Shield with us today. Didn't make it in the suitcase, but Shield Fitness, that is our sponsor, presenting sponsor for Beach Access. And we mentioned the tape that Duda was wearing and Patricia and a lot of athletes, except good news, not Anders Moe and Christian Sorum. They're healthy. They don't need it. Now, I never liked to wear tape when I was playing because it wouldn't stick and it wouldn't stretch. But the way that Shield does it is it actually stretches with you and it would actually stay on, which maybe would have helped my knees a little bit. I would be in tears on flights. And so I wish I had Shield, and we're going to link to their website in our show notes. Please go to them. You can use SANDCAST to get a little discount. Give them some love. It's an American-based company. All their products in the U.S., so extra reason to give Shield some love. And they have cooling tape, which is cool.
That's kind of fun.
You got a little. It's blue, and you got a little cooling wrap on it.
No,
it was funny.
Like that.
Austin opened that pack, and he was putting his hands on it. He's like, "Dado, hands funny." His hands were tingling. So got a little icy hot tape. And so they got all your needs to keep you nice and healthy. But while we're speaking of healthy, Anders Moe, Christian Sorum, good God.
Yeah.
They look healthy.
It's crazy. They're crazy. Anders Moe is from another planet. I think we've talked about that before, but the shoulder health of both of them, super, super good. Shout out to their strength coach, which they shouted out in the post-game interview. But they look like a well-oiled machine. They look focused. There's an intensity to them. Anders, 67% kill efficiency. That's second in the tournament. He was nearly unservable. And then 5.5 blocks per match. Also first in the tournament, just ahead of Christian Svokarats. Sorum, I think the little surprise for them was Sorum serving. He had 10 aces in the tournament, and that was good for fourth total, actually.
Wow.
Which is impressive because usually that is not quite the weapon.
Got to be a career high.
That's got to be because it's not usually a weapon for Christian. Usually Mole with a couple jump serves here and there, ripping some here and there. But obviously we talked about Rothenbaum, and the float serve was helping them for sure. But they just made quick work of Plevens and Fokerots in that semifinals. Like that was a pool play game of a challenge. Plevens and Fokerots had no energy, and they sucked it right out of them. And then in the finals, it was tight first set. Wojciech played hard, they played tough, but Christian and Anders played perfect. In the second set, it was like, they were like, we're done with this match. We're going to just wrap this up in two. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, and we were talking about it after where I was thinking, what could have Poland done? And I think you said the perfect thing. They could have sided out at 2019 when Wojciech had an opportunity in transition. And we were talking about in the broadcast a lot, the X factors for Poland. Wojciech serving stayed elite throughout the playoffs, and then transition efficiency. So coming in this season, he was at 38% transition efficiency, and he got better and better and better as it went on, and that's why they were able to beat Sweden for the first time. That's why they were able to beat, I believe, did they take out Nels Ehlers?
Yeah, they beat Germany as well.
Beat Germany as well. And then that's why that they were in the hunt, in the fight with a swing for the set against Anders, and then Anders does what he does, gets in there, blocks it, extends it to 2020. He ends up with 8 blocks in the finals. Takeover mode.
Yeah, scary hours for the Norwegians, and Bill and Wojciech just didn't have any answers. And after that first set, not closing that out, you just knew it was going to be really hard for them to come back in the second.
It's just that deflated balloon, just a he had the chance, didn't take it, and then Poland didn't even play bad in the second set. That's just how good Anders and Christian did play in 21-14. And so Anders in the semifinal, I went down and chatted with him after they dusted up on Plevens and Fokerots, and he said, Emanuel and Ricardo, we're coming.
Yeah.
And so here in Hamburg last year, they won. That was their 24th victory as a team, past Phil Dahlhauser and Todd Rogers, number 2 all-time solo. They're now up to 29 wins as a team, 5 away from tying the record set by Ricardo and Emanuel for wins as a team, 6 until they actually do it. And now the clock is on. It's just a matter of time, whether it's in 2026 or 2027. And I've been saying it for a while that I think that they're the greatest team of all time. But when they get that win, it's going to be nice that they'll be the undisputed kings.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think we say it a lot on air, and I forget Emanuel and Ricardo do have more wins. And obviously there's some recency bias with the Volley Vikings and how they've taken over the sport of beach volleyball and really changed and become worldwide phenomenons. And you saw it here when the MC was like, we're going to do the Viking clap before they play with the crowd. Just let the fans know
do a dress rehearsal.
We're doing a dress rehearsal here. Let the Vikings know we're on their side. You're not Italy, but we're on your side. As the rest of the world is, wherever they go, people like cheering for Anders and Christian. They're real pros and representatives of our sport.
They're superstars.
Yeah,
superstars.
Superstars.
And I want to touch on Poland before we get to
Yeah.
a storyline that I want to chat about, which is with other superstars, David Ahman, Jonatan Hellvig, who I haven't seen in a while. But Poland, you went down and chatted with them after their semifinal win over Stefan Borman's Mewhirter Group. Congrats on another bronze medal, 4th podium in 5 events this season. And Bartosz Wojciech said, we were perfect. We were perfect. And Wojciech and Piotr Kantor were my favorite team to watch while they were playing. And Wojciech has been my favorite player to watch for really since I started getting into beach volleyball, because he was really starting to win in 2015. I think they won that Grand Slam, maybe in Rio, somewhere in Brazil. And they were sort of introduced this modern offense that we're seeing now. And it's so much, beach volleyball's better when they're playing good. And it's great to see them playing at this level.
Yeah, I was happy to watch them play. They made some unbelievable plays. The consistency inside out. For Michal Brill was siding out, I think 71, 72% for this tournament, seeing a lot of service pressure. And then some of the wild swings from Bartosz Wojciech. I won't forget that one. Rolled out from the end line to about 4 or 5 meters, and he just whips it back to the line like one of those 1 in a million swings that you would never even try. He was second in the tournament in digs per match with 9.7. He led the tournament in digs. And then Michal Brill led the tournament in total points scored with 140. Part of that is because he got a lot of service pressure. But they did some first. They beat Sweden for the first time. They knocked off Germany as well. They just looked focused. They looked healthy. And I agree, it's nice to see them back because we hold them to this high standard because they've been so good for so long. And this was the first glimpse that I've seen in a while of like, oh, here they are. They're back. They're back. They look good. They're back.
They look like the 2022 versions of themselves. And they came out, won their first event as a team of challenge in Tlaxcala in 2022, where I played with your boy Tim Brewster.
Your boy.
31 seed beating the 2 in the qualifier. What's up? But then they won 3 more events in that opening season. And I was like, all right, here's the expectation. They're going to rack them up, pile them up. It's going to be Poland, Norway, and Sweden. Let's go. And they haven't won a gold medal since in an elite. And I think it's hard to say it's a matter of time because there are so many good teams. But if they play like this, I do think it's a matter of time before they finally do get on the podium. They've been close. Man, they've been close. 2 silver medals now this year. Devastating loss in the Star Jablonski finals to up 13-6 in the third to Marco Kradiger and Leo Dillier and let that one slip.
You just had to bring it up. You just had to bring it
sorry.
up.
Sorry, Polish people. People don't forget.
People don't forget.
Right. Hey, it makes it better. All right. Tommy Fleetwood had played 165 PGA Tour events and come second and blown leads, and then he won the FedEx Cup. And it was all that much sweeter. So who knows? Maybe the slingshot's just being pulled back and you win in world champs.
Yeah,
all right?
That'd be fun.
That would be fun. But I do want to touch on Sweden. So David Ahman, Jonatan Hellvig went on a stretch when you include European Championships, made 11 straight finals. At one point, they'd won 5 straight gold medals. This year, they've only won 1 gold medal in Ostrava, and they have gone 4th, 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 5th. 5th.
5th year.
5th year in Hamburg. And I'm wondering, do you see anything? Because I looked at the numbers, and their side-out numbers are virtually identical from 2024 to 2025. The biggest change that I've seen in transition in 2024, they were siding out 54%. In 2025, it's 48%. And that's numbers-wise, that's it. That's literally the only difference. Their error rate, pretty much the same. They're about hitting half of what their opponents are. Hellvig is pretty much doubling up on blocks of their opponents.
Yeah.
And I can't make sense of it.
Yeah, the first thing I think of is that the rest of the world has begun to figure out how to play against them. And that honeymoon phase, it was a long honeymoon phase for them. Long honeymoon phase. But the rest of the world is starting to feel confident, I think, going on the sand against them, and also learning some of their tendencies and being able to make some small adjustments. Just like the world took a while to adjust to Anders and Christian, and here came Sweden with the whole new style offense to adjust to the Vikings. I think the rest of the world is starting to learn how to make little adjustments to play against this team who they've seen over and over again, who've beaten them, who they've gotten beaten by over and over again. And so you go into data collection mode, you go into the books, into the lab, and figure out how do we beat this team who's been at the top of the world. And so it's a little slump from them. They still have a gold medal this year, which is a feat within itself. We talk about the depth on the men's side. But yeah, my first thought is the rest of the world is learning just how to play against them just a little bit better. It took 3 years to figure it out, but they're starting to figure it out.
And so we'll see. It's all about adaptations, kind of adapt or die out here on the Beach Pro Tour. And so we'll see what Sweden changes, if anything, because it's not like they're playing bad.
No.
They're just losing it. For the second straight tournament, they lost to a team they'd never lost to before, Montreal, Jacob Holting-Nielsen, Elmer Anderson. They get it for the first time in the semis. And then here, Poland takes them out in the quarterfinals, their first win over Sweden. And so it's going to be interesting to see any changes, if any, that we see from Sweden in Joao Pessoa, in Rio. I don't know if they're doing Newport and World Championships in Adelaide, but they got a couple months to figure it out before the big time starts.
Yeah, and I don't foresee a ton of changes on their end. Like you said, their numbers are practically the same.
Yeah.
And so when you have numbers like that, it's proven that you can make 11 straight finals. And so it's just about getting the points at the right time, staying together, communicating, maybe some intangibles that they could clean up on their side, because their skills are phenomenal. And in my opinion, their skills will only get better every single tournament over time because they are so young still. And just look at Plavins, he's 40 years old. Talk about skills getting better. He has got it dialed. He's got it dialed. And so you will get better. You got lots of time. They got 18 years before they get to where Plavins is. It's a long time.
I love Plavins.
We love them.
Talk about events being better with certain people and teams in them. Martins Plavins.
Yes.
Man, I hope he plays forever. I hope he comes to every tournament. Just have the best interactions with him all the time.
He's hilarious. He's always wants to chat. He's always down for a good time. Just warming up with y'all in the pregame, hitting shots, and he's just got such a high IQ. And when we talked to someone who said he's the smartest player, maybe it was Javi Bello. But that's what it looks like. And, Coach Plavin's in the box. He's crafty. He's smart. He's just a legend of our sport, 3-time Olympian. It's just really cool to have him around still.
Love having him around. And last thing I want to touch on, so we touched on Linda Bock kind of breaking through. So for years I've had my eye on this kid named Theo Rotar, this 6'7" blocker from France. Kicked my ass in a 1-star in Bulgaria, I believe. And even then, man, me and Adam Roberts were down like 14-7, and we brought it back and tied it at 19. So I was like, all right, these kids got a little while before they sort of cleaned it up. And I knew that the time was coming for Rotar, especially last year when him and Arnaud Gauthier-Ra, who had never played together before, they go undefeated in the European Continental Cup to seal up a second Olympic spot for France. France had only ever had one Olympic berth in the history of beach volleyball, and they get 2 at home in Paris. And so that was huge. Rotar doesn't get selected to play in the Olympics. They give it back to Yusuf Crew, who was coming off an injury and had to skip the European Continental Cup. But then you had to wonder, when was Rotar going to do it regularly on the Beach Pro Tour? And in Elites, they hadn't quite done it. They lost in qualifiers in Quintana Roo and Brasilia. In Stade, they didn't break pool, and then here they go. They smash Folkerats and Plavins in pool play, and then they give Anders and Christian a full run for their money. And you talk about maturity of a young athlete. Rotar was in a deep, dark nightmare of a hole, down 12-3 in that first set against Anders and Christian. He'd been blocked 3 times before the first side switch. And a lot of young players, it's like, oh, screw it. This is the best blocker of all time. Let's just move on. We're supposed to lose. I'm not supposed to learn how to navigate around Anders for a while. Well, they win the second set, go up 13-12 in the third, have a couple swings at it. They don't capitalize. And then they, in the playoffs, come up against Sweden, push them to 3, almost win it. And so I think their 9th is an unfair. It is not a finish that is indicative of the level that they played, because their 2 wins were massive sweeps and their 2 losses were in 3 to Norway and Sweden.
Yeah, if your only losses are coming to a team from Scandinavia, you're doing all right.
Yeah.
You're doing all right as Scandinavia has taken over the beach volleyball world. But I'm so impressed with both players. Gauthier-Ra has been playing for a while, and every time I watch him, I'm more impressed with his ability to put the ball where he wants it, to be creative in tough situations, to bring heat when he wants as well. He does every skill extremely, extremely well. And then Theo Rotar is one of those freakish kind of athletes like an Anders Mol, who, when he gets up and gets on some balls, there's not a lot of guys who are touching the ball at the contact point that he is touching the ball, and he is still so young. So it's exciting time for Theo and Gauthier-Ra, who I think will continue to just grow and get better, and Theo's going to mature and evolve. And I agree with you. They gave Anders and Christian maybe the best match that they had in this whole tournament. And so it's a lot to be proud of for the French team. Leaving this tournament at 9th maybe doesn't feel so great. The top 10 is nice. It is nice, but I'm sure they want more. But I agree with you. It doesn't quite give them the recognition. And so for fans at home, go watch some of their games from Hamburg and go enjoy some of their play.
Yeah, I think that match, France against Norway, one of my favorite matches of the weekend.
Nice.
That's all I got on my invisible card. I just finished writing the recap, so it was all pretty much in my head. You got anything you want to bring up?
That was good. No, I love that we're back here in Hamburg. I have some nice fond memories, again, of sitting. It was a very special time or tournament to be here in person. It meant a lot. I remember doing our little recap here, and I was thinking, wow, I can't believe that we're here doing this, and now we're back, and it's been a year. And so, yeah, it's just really cool. Really
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary to us.
So that's it for Hamburg. Glad a good crowd showed up for the finals. Let's get a little nervous first couple days. Let's try to fill it out a little earlier. All right, Hamburg. But the finals was great. Coming down to do the interviews and seeing the lower bowl completely packed. They sold upwards of 4,000 tickets on the last day, which would have sold out any other arena we've been here. on the Beach Pro Tour, but this place seats 13,000. So it's pretty cavernous. It's a good crowd on the final day. Really fun atmosphere. Shout out to Fabian, the MC. I think he does a fantastic job. And shout out, as always, to all the content team at Volleyball World and our guy, Daniel Freitas, who's in there editing about 365 reels. So you get one per day minimum for the year. I will not be in Joao Pessoa, so I will be Florida State duties call. Shout out to the Noles for beating Bama. Let's go. Morale's high. I'll be back in Rio with Kyle. Kyle's going to be with Denise Austin in Joao Pessoa. So I will see you guys from Brazil. So until then, shoots.
Later.